They won't tell you this directly, but our culture has a secret obsession. It worships beginnings. It glorifies youth, speed, and the ones who arrive early. If you haven't achieved something by 25, you're already slipping. If you haven't made it by 30, you're treated like a background character in your own life. Not failed exactly, but quietly dismissed. This is the unspoken law of our age. Early equals worthy. Late equals lost. And yet, I want to ask you, who wrote this law, and why do you believe it governs you? Because somewhere inside, you've probably felt it. That creeping sense of being behind. You scroll through feeds and watch younger people ascend, publishing books, building companies, becoming famous before you've even found stable ground. And a voice whispers, "You missed your chance." That whisper is subtle, but it lingers. It doesn't yell, it waits. It echoes when you see old classmates thriving, when your family asks, "So, what are you up to these days?" It's a voice that grows louder in silence. But here's the truth. That voice is not wisdom. It is not your intuition. It is not fate. It is programming. They rarely say it out loud, but you can feel it in the air. Our world has a quiet obsession: speed. We celebrate the young. We glorify early success. We turn prodigies into legends before they even understand who they are. And without ever speaking it directly, society passes you a silent judgment. If you haven't achieved something by a certain age, you're probably already too late. Too late to start over. Too late to chase the dream. Too late to matter. It's rarely said, but deeply felt. When you scroll through your feed and see people 10 years younger than you building companies, writing books, creating movements, becoming famous, something inside you whispers, "Maybe I missed my chance." It shows up in family dinners too, when someone leans in and asks, "So, what are you doing these days?" The question is innocent, but your chest tightens, because behind the words, you hear the hidden comparison, and then quietly, shame begins to form. Not the kind that screams, but the kind that lingers like a shadow, a voice inside that murmurs, "I should have figured it out by now." But here's the truth. That voice is not truth. It's programming. From the day you were born, a script was already written for you. Graduate by 22, have a stable career by 25, be married by 28, own a house by 30, raise children by 35, and if you haven't achieved all of this in order, on schedule, society quietly marks you as late. But late according to what? According to whom? The truth is, this timeline was never yours. It was handed to you. It was carved into your mind by schools, by media, by traditions that don't even know your name. And here's the paradox. Almost no one follows it perfectly, and yet almost everyone feels the shame of failing it. But this schedule is fiction. It's not a law of nature. It's not written in the stars. It's not even based on wisdom. It's based on systems that thrive when you feel like you're running behind. Because when you feel late, you rush. And when you rush, you consume. You chase shortcuts. You burn yourself out trying to catch up to an imaginary clock. Ask yourself, who actually benefits from you believing you're behind? Who gains from your panic? Not you, not your soul. The world convinces you that early equals success and late equals failure. But this is a trick, a cultural spell. Philosophers have always warned against this illusion. Seneca wrote that it is not that life is short, but that we waste much of it. And the greatest waste is not slowness, but the frantic rushing through someone else's race. Time is not a single path. It is not a conveyor belt where you must grab your prize before it passes. Time is vast, layered, unfolding in countless directions. Some lives ignite at 20, some lives ignite at 70. Neither is better, Neither is late. Because lateness itself is a myth. Here's a possibility you rarely consider. What if your so-called delay is not failure at all? What if it's part of your design? Think of the seed buried underground. For weeks, months, sometimes years, there is nothing to see. No applause, no recognition, only darkness. And yet, the most important work is happening in secret. Roots are stretching, foundations are forming, strength is gathering. The flower does not rush its bloom because another flower opened earlier. The oak does not apologize to the grass for taking decades to rise. Each has its own rhythm. Why should you be any different? The truth is, while you've been calling yourself late, you've been building depth. Every rejection taught you resilience. Every detour gave you perspective. Every silent year carved wisdom into your bones. But because the world didn't see it, you dismissed it. You mistook invisibility for irrelevance. Silence does not mean nothing is happening. Silence is gestation. The pause before the eruption. The slow forging of someone who will not break when the moment comes. Philosophers have long understood this. Heraclitus spoke of the hidden harmony, deeper than the obvious one. The forces at work beneath the surface, shaping what will eventually appear. In Taoism, the sage waits not because of laziness, but because the Tao, the flow of life itself, cannot be forced. Your journey, too, is not wasted. It is woven. Every so-called wasted year is part of a larger pattern. And when the threads finally reveal themselves, you will see it clearly. You were not late. You were being prepared. If lateness were failure, history would not look the way it does. Because the truth is, some of the most profound contributions to humanity came not from the young prodigies, but from those who bloomed late. Consider Socrates. He is remembered as one of the greatest philosophers to ever live, the man who shaped Western thought itself. And yet, Socrates didn't begin his public life as a philosopher until he was well into his 40s. Before that, he wandered, questioned, struggled. No one would have looked at him as a success. Immanuel Kant, whose critique of pure reason changed philosophy forever, was over 50 before he published the work that secured his place in history. Mary Delaney invented an entirely new art form at 72, her famous paper mosaics, which astonished European society. At an age when most are expected to fade, she began. Ray Kroc was selling milkshake machines at 52 when he stumbled upon a small hamburger stand called McDonald's. He didn't just build a business, he built an empire, one of the most influential companies in history. Grandma Moses only started painting in her late 70s, after arthritis ended her ability to embroider. By the time she died, her art was in museums, her name celebrated worldwide. And even in the sciences, Charles Darwin was 50 when On the Origin of Species was published, a book that reshaped humanity's understanding of life itself. Imagine if these people had believed the whisper, "It's too late." The world as we know it would be emptier. These stories remind us, the idea of lateness is cultural, not cosmic. The universe does not keep score by your age. Your timeline is yours. And when it unfolds, it can be just as powerful at 20 as at 70, because it's not about when you bloom. It's about that you bloom at all. So here's the question. If so many of the world's greatest thinkers, artists, and builders bloomed later than expected, why do you still fear being late? Because you've been taught to measure your life like a race. You imagine a finish line where you either arrive on time or you've lost. But life is not a race. Life is not a train schedule where you either catch the carriage or watch it leave forever. Life is more like a tide. It rises, it falls, it returns. Sometimes it recedes for years, revealing nothing but emptiness, and then suddenly it surges forward with force you could not have predicted. This is why lateness is an illusion. You are not late. You are exact, not a second early, not a second late, exact. Every so-called detour you've taken, every heartbreak, every stalled season that felt like punishment, all of it has been shaping you. All of it has been chiseling away illusions, preparing you for the weight of what's to come. Because here is the hidden secret. Early success can feel exciting, but it is often fragile. It is the flame that flares up quickly, but burns out just as fast. Late success, by contrast, carries weight. It is rooted. It comes with scars, wisdom, and resilience. It cannot be taken from you as easily, because you didn't just stumble into it. You were forged for it. Philosopher Carl Jung once wrote that the true journey of becoming yourself doesn't even begin until midlife. Before that, you're busy wearing masks. The mask of the good student, the good worker, the good child. Only when those masks crack do you glimpse the deeper self, the one that was waiting patiently in the shadows. So if you feel late, pause and ask yourself, what if I'm not late at all? What if I'm right on time, but for a story larger than the one I inherited? Because lateness is not real. What is real is readiness. And the few who do criticize, they're often the ones who never dared to start themselves. The philosopher Kierkegaard once said that anxiety is the dizziness of freedom. That dizziness you feel at the thought of starting over is not proof that you're failing. It's proof that you are free. To begin again is not weakness. It is courage. It is the courage to admit, I am not finished yet. Think of it. A river does not flow in a straight line. It bends, it carves, it disappears underground, only to emerge stronger miles later. And yet, no one calls the river late. We call it alive. So why should your life be any different? The fear of being late is the fear of wasted years. But nothing is wasted if you use it. Even regret can become material. Even failure can become foundation. The Japanese have a word, kintsugi, the art of mending broken pottery with gold. The cracks are not hidden, they are illuminated. The object is more beautiful for having been broken. Your life is no different. To begin again is not to erase the cracks. It is to reveal their worth. So wherever you are now, whatever age you carry, whatever path you've wandered, if you still feel the pull, the whisper, the fire, then you are not late. You are ready. So let's end with this. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not missing your chance. You are arriving. Every hour of doubt, every year of wandering, every detour you cursed, they have all been preparing you for a moment that could only belong to you. The world may not notice yet, but destiny is not measured in applause. Destiny is measured in alignment. That instant when who you are finally meets what you were meant to do. And when that moment comes, whether at 20 or 80, you will not be fragile because you will not be untested. You will carry weight. You will carry wisdom. You will carry the fire of someone who did not give up when the world told them they were too late. So hear me now. There is no stopwatch hanging over your head. There is no expiration date on becoming yourself. The only thing that matters is that you begin, that you step into the life that has been calling you, whether the world applauds or not. Because the truth is, the universe does not honor speed. It honors depth. It honors patience. It honors the ones who do not quit when the myth of lateness tries to break them. So if you are breathing, you are not late. If you are willing, you are not late. If you are still here, then the story is still unfolding. And perhaps, just perhaps, you are not behind at all.